Even the country's oldest Latino civil rights group came out against it, yet AOC keeps defending it, saying gender is fluid, language is fluid. Yes, and Latino voters are fluid. Intersectionality and the importance of shutting the fuck up about it. And undouching your face, man beards from Ted Cruz to J.D. Vance.
The Democrats are scrambling to win back Americans, but they're doing it in the most dishonest, tone-deaf, and downright pathetic ways imaginable. And guess who's lighting them up? Bill Maher, in his latest monologue. The comedian savagely roasted the DNC, tearing apart their clueless tactics that land with all the grace of a lead balloon. It was brutal, hilarious, and exactly what they deserved. So, if you're into non-nonsense political takedowns, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in.
To your point, I want to get to something very important. How many know what SAM stands for? It's a new phrase. It stands for Speaking with American Men, SAM. This is the new movement by the Democratic Party. They lost the men vote a lot last time, so they had a meeting up at the Ritz-Carlton at Half Moon Bay, south of San Francisco. I'm not making this up, where they served mini lobster rolls and had heirloom tomato carpaccio and seared sea bass in their conclave to decide how to win back the American man.
Ma kicked off his monologue by dissecting the Democrats' latest scheme to win back American men, the very group they lost in last year's election. And let's just say he was equal parts amused and appalled. Instead of, actually talking to men they alienated, the DNC thought it wise to host a fancy gathering at a luxury hotel, complete with gourmet meals and all the political pageantry money can buy. Because nothing says we understand you like lobster rolls in a ballroom. Ma tore into the absurdity of it all, mocking their tone-deaf attempt to reconnect with working-class voters from the comfort of catered luncheons. It wasn't outreach. It was theater, and Ma roasted them like a holiday turkey.
Now, look.
It's because we used to have conferences at Harvard to figure out what the working class needs, and so now we're moving west.
You got to own who you are. I get it. These are the mini lobster roll people. But they had this symposium, and we got a hold of what was this is Speaking with American Men. This is a real thing that they're doing, and they have these seminars. Would you like to hear what was? Okay. These are ways that they want to. Seminars that they had to try to win back the typical American male, like how to keep your liberal base while putting guns on your Christmas card. That was one.
The American man, now look, it's because we used to have conferences at Harvard to figure out what the working class needs. And so now we're moving west. You got to own who you are. I get it. These are the mini lobster roll people. But they had this symposium, and we got a hold of what was that. This is Speaking with American Men. This is a real thing that they're doing. And they have these seminars. Would you like to hear what was okay? These are ways that they want seminars that they had to try to win back the typical American male. Like how to keep your liberal base while putting guns on your Christmas card. That was one.
Best protein powder for a clean bulk, another dude conversation starter. Bud Light etiquette, when to drink it, when to shoot it.
Maher opened his roast by highlighting just how wildly out of touch the Democrat strategies have become. He pointed out the obvious. If they had simply taken the time to speak with the liberal men who've drifted toward the center, or even crossed over to the right, they might have learned something valuable. Chief among the reasons for the exodus, their relentless obsession with woke politics. Instead of addressing the issues that actually matter, like the struggling economy, rising inflation, or America's declining image on the world stage, they've been too busy virtue signaling and appeasing the Twitter mob. Ma made it clear that this disconnect isn't just political incompetence. It's political suicide. The average voter doesn't care about academic pronoun debates or activist jargon. They care about their wallets, their families, and their country. And yet, The Democrats seem more focused on pleasing activists than fixing real problems.
Fishing, the bizarre hobby working class men enjoy instead of pickleball. The only scene that you're obsessed with in Titanic, hint, it has tits.
Now, this is peak comedy. Picture it. A Democrat walks up to you all serious, trying to win back your vote, not by talking about fixing the economy, lowering inflation, or making your life any better, but by giving you tips on the best protein powder to bulk up. Hey, bro, have you tried plant-based pea protein? Really? That's your pitch? You stand there blinking, wondering, is this a political party or a fitness influencer? It's like they skipped the part where voters care about jobs, gas prices, and global chaos, and went straight to gym talk. Newsflash. Voters aren't leaving because of their protein intake. They're leaving because their bank accounts are starving. If this is outreach, it's the most tone-deaf sales pitch since New Coke.
Bruce Lee versus Bigfoot, mythical fight scenarios to man up your Joe Rogan appearance.
Ma kept the flames going, roasting the Democrats for their increasingly delusional strategies to win back male voters. And honestly, at this point, nothing would surprise me. If next week they roll out a sex appeal strategy, I wouldn't even blink. Why? Because there's this absurd notion floating around that men are just simple creatures ruled by one thing, boobs. So, naturally, the next genius plan might be, forget policy, let's just flash some cleavage and call it outreach. It's like they skipped Political Science 101 and went straight to Maxim magazine. Mom mocked this desperation brilliantly, pointing out that if your grand plan to fix voter disengagement is thirst traps and TikToks, maybe it's time to pack it in.
Intersectionality and the importance of shutting the fuck up about it. And undouching your face, man beards from Ted Cruz to J.D. Vance.
Now, this is hilarious on so many levels. It's practically a comedy special. First, Joe Rogan, once the left's favorite bald, muscle-bound uncle, seems to have quietly packed his bags and moved to the political center. Why? Because he doesn't even recognize the left anymore. It's morphed into a cartoonish parody of the movement he once admired, complete with clown noses and ideological juggling acts. Second, Rogan's podcast, along with a handful of scrappy independent shows, has hijacked America's attention by serving up something the mainstream can't seem to manage. Authentic news and opinions that actually make sense. Imagine that. And finally, there's a delicious irony. While the left has been on a crusade to sandblast every last shred of traditional masculinity out of men, Rogan unapologetically champions it. Hunting, lifting, speaking his mind. It's like kryptonite to their narrative. No wonder they don't invite him to their echo chamber anymore.
Last week, an 85% Latino congressional district on the border with Mexico, which had always voted heavily Democratic, flipped to the red team. And the campaign manager for the losing Democrat said, "We gave up a reliably Democratic congressional seat for no reason at all. We deserve to know why." Well, aside from your terrible attitude, I'm going to tell you why. Because these voters stopped seeing your candidate as their lawyer. That's why. Their message to you was, I'm an American now. I'm here. Be my lawyer, not the lawyer for the migrants showing up in my backyard.
The left just can't stop preaching about diversity and inclusion like it's the magic cure for every problem in America, from inflation to bad Wi-Fi. You'd think if we just held enough sensitivity workshops, the economy would fix itself and world peace would break out by Tuesday. Never mind the glaring messes this obsession has created. The DNC keeps championing it like a dog with a favorite chew toy, no matter how many times it gets on everyone's nerves. And then there's Bill Maher, who couldn't resist taking a swipe, not just of the ideology, but at the left's tragic epidemic of beardless men. I mean, seriously, what's a man without a beard? It's like a lion without a mane or a cowboy without a hat. Sure, facial hair is a policy issue, but in Maher's eyes, it's a pretty solid metaphor for how the left has been, well, shaving off its backbone.
Every month I see a new poll reporting how much Latinos despise the woke term Latinx. It's about as popular with them as a reboot of Speedy Gonzales.
And that right there is the core issue with today's Democratic Party. They've abandoned the concerns of everyday Americans in favor of appeasing a loud, hyper-progressive minority on the far left. It's almost as if they've started prioritizing non-citizens over their own citizens. Just look at their track record every time there's an effort to secure the border or crack down on illegal immigration. They push back with moral outrage. But when fentanyl overdoses skyrocket, claiming thousands of American lives each year, you can practically hear crickets. Where's the same urgency? Where's the outrage? The message they're sending is clear. Virtue signaling to activists matters more than saving American lives. I didn't hold back in calling out this hypocrisy, because while the Democratic elite are busy debating pronouns and pushing open border narratives, real families are burying their kids. And somehow that's become an acceptable trade-off in their political playbook.
Even the country's oldest Latino civil rights group came out against it, yet AOC keeps defending it, saying gender is fluid, language is fluid. Yes, and Latino voters are fluid.
Another hallmark of the modern Democratic Party is their habit of imposing trendy ideas without ever asking the people they claim to represent. One glaring example, the infamous Latings label. Rather than engaging with the Latino community and understanding their views, Democrats decided to slap on a term cooked up in academia and Twitter bubbles, then acted shocked when it didn't stick. In fact, polls show the vast majority of Latinos rejected it, finding it awkward, unnecessary, and even offensive. And when the backlash came, cue the political tap dance. Gavin Newsom, among others, suddenly pretended he had nothing to do with it, despite clear footage of him using the very term. It's the classic move. Push a narrative from the top down, and when it flops, gaslight the public like it never happened. The arrogance is stunning, and Ma was right to mock it as a symptom of elite detachment.